Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our business meeting for this Tuesday afternoon, 7th of February. First on the list, as usual, we have HR.
Good morning, commissioners. I have one item today from law enforcement records, and Dave Handy is here to discuss a proposal to add one record specialist. Sorry, I have a little bit of a cold too. So he's up here and we can go over that request. Come on up. And Julie Harris is here as well.
Morning, Commissioner. Dave Handy with the Sheriff's Office, Julie Harris, Records Manager. So the Sheriff's Office,
You actually have to speak a little more into the microphone, otherwise other people can't hear you.
okay, how's this, Commissioners?
Much better.
So basically, we come to you with a proposal to add a records specialist. The Sheriff's Office is in the process of onboarding a new body worn camera system that each deputy in the field will wear. In addition to that, we'll have a car video system. We currently do have an existing car or legacy car system that we pretty much switched out to the newer system we're proposing to use. And that system will be a 4-stream video system. By 4-stream, I mean it will generate 4 streams or distinct video images, basically like 4 movies simultaneously. One of those will be the body camera, one will be a rear view camera from the patrol vehicle, and the front of the patrol car will have a straight ahead view and also a fisheye view. So what we're anticipating is a huge upsurge in our public disclosure requests and the amount of time it will take to process those videos. Unlike our legacy car system that basically takes a single focal view of the public, when we get a request for public disclosure, it's very limited in the amount of redaction or things we have to take away from the video before it can be released to members of the public. With body cameras, we have people going into medical facilities, into houses, and the citizenry. There are certain laws governing what we can release and what we can't release to protect the privacy interest of members of the public. And that can be basically you have somebody using a redaction program to review every video and say, oh, we can't release this. This has to be blocked out or made fuzzy. So we can't release that. And currently the Sheriff's Office receives a large number of requests for public disclosure. Over the last couple of years, we're averaged probably 2,200, 2,300 requests for disclosure per year. And those are paper disclosures, which are also subject to redaction, but that's a lot easier and less labor intensive than video redaction. Currently, the records staff has 2, they're called WAPRO, basically Washington State public records officers that people have gone through training and are up to latest speed on what to redact, what not to redact. And the plan would be to tap our existing reserves, so this would not affect the general fund, to hire an additional record specialist who would do the entry-level work. And right now, we currently have 2 additional record staff we're training up to be also public disclosure specialists. So basically, this position would be backfilling somebody that could pretty much be dedicated full-time to public disclosure requests. And we have the financial depth or bandwidth in a reserve fund to hire this position without affecting the general budget. And I can get real technical about what has to be redacted out of the videos, what's not. I assume you don't want to get into the weeds on that, but basically it needs, we're under, we have to serve the public by releasing the documents in a certain amount of time, but we also have to protect the public who would be subject to what's in the content of the video to not release things like medical records. So there's a great deal of liability to the county either way you cut it. We have to do it in a timely manner, but we have to make sure it's done right. And talking with other agencies, I believe this will conservatively justify a full-time position. Questions regarding what I've told you or any further information you'd like to request? Oh, I guess one thing I should add is that based upon RCW, we can recoup some of the costs of this position, but we have to do where we can bill people for these public disclosure requests because we do have people that like to make regular public records requests. But each agency has to do its own time study of how much it takes, how much time it takes of an employee's wages. And we would come back before the board to get a fee schedule approved, but it has to be an actual reflection done by each individual agency for the time study and the cost.
So you'd have to build some data
Correct.
for that. Yeah.
Correct.
Other places that have, I mean, I can kind of understand probably a lot more data coming out with agencies that institute the body cams. Have they seen records requests pop up?
They have, we've talked to both Longview and Kelso Police, and Kelso told us they could easily justify the full-time person they have doing it. And the Longview Records Department has several folks that are involved with this as well. And this is anecdotal, but they said you can just get a simple request. Like they had one for a video investigating a video request for a collision. And that ended up being 18 separate videos because you have different officers on scene, people coming and going. And that request for just a simple auto collision took several hours to process. So that I'm not even talking about a complex crime where you have several people involved and lengthy videos. And we're going to roll the body cameras out within probably the next couple of weeks. And we've really, over the last couple of years, have maximized our efficiencies and records, our concealed pistol license processing. We've done that, gone to an online format. We're, you know, those in the firearm sales that we process, we've expedited those. We have given a really good customer service to the members of the public. In fact, we're so good that we have people coming up from Oregon bypassing Clark County and so the neighboring counties to get out of state concealed pistol license through us, because I guess the word's out, we're pretty fast and pretty efficient. And we've gone to near paperless operations. And in the last couple of years, the amount of changes we made have been, pretty remarkable how quickly we've done that. And I guess to add one more, I don't want to get a little long-winded here, but we routinely test for maintain an active civil service list. About a month ago, we had some folks tested LCC. They come to our office for an oral board where we establish an eligibility list for specialist positions such as this. So we have a relatively fresh list. We have several qualified candidates on that list. And the reason we like to act now is so we don't lose some of those folks, because if they're motivated to get jobs, we'll see these people drop off our list and they'll notify us, hey, of other employment elsewhere. So we have a viable pool of people right now ready to pull from.
Could you tell me again the number of how many PRRs you've experienced?
Number of what, I'm sorry?
The number of public record requests. You
Sure.
mentioned a number that was rather broad, 20 to 100. And
Sure.
something.
In 2022, we had 2,065 requests, while the other all county agencies combined had 636. In 2021, we had 2,379 compared to 530 for all their county agencies combined. And in 2020, we had 2,209.
How much in 2020?
2,209. And those are the only figures I have at this point.
Yeah. And you mentioned cost recovery. Do you have any idea approximately how much somebody would have to pay? So
Kelso has a city resolution, which is 22-1270. And they're based on their cost study for the cost to provide the video processing time is $40.16 an hour.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
So Kelso Police or the city of Kelso is authorized $40.16 per hour. I don't have those numbers for Longview.
$40 and something for.
And 16
what-
cents per
for
hour
what
to
unit?
process the video.
For what unit?
to process the video for Kelso Police.
One video, and that could be a 5-minute video or a
That's employee time per hour.
employee time per hour.
Like if an employee spends 4 hours in the video, it'd be 4 times that.
Yeah, and let's say, well, independent of this, if someone comes to you now and wants a video, how do you charge them?
We don't.
Okay, so
I think there's-
now it's free.
Basically, it's like for paper, like if someone comes to request paper, basically you can charge a minimal amount for copying. Is it 10 cents per page?
15 cents per page.
15 cents per page.
Okay, and you don't do anything about a video? Does that mean they don't see a video, or they currently don't have a video that?
We provide them with a video as requested. The issue with our car cameras now is we're not really, there's this minor reaction. We're not
Yeah.
like a deputy going into a protected space where you have to pull out the images.
So I think what I'm asking is still, if I'm a citizen and I want to, I say I saw a police officer, deputy doing an arrest last month, I want the video, the body cam. Do we have that available now?
From the car we do, but our body cameras are not deployed. They will be in about a week or two. Is that what you're asking, Commissioner?
Right, so at the moment, we don't have any video we can offer them.
Correct, other than the
Well, I
ones
wanted to be
associated with the
sure.
car.
Yeah, okay. And then how do you propose to turn over the video?
So Julie can speak to the mechanics of that.
So currently we use GovQA, just like the rest of the county. And we can upload that into GovQA after it is redacted in Command Central, which is our digital evidence storage.
So it's up to the requester to have a computer and do the download.
Yes, they would have to, well, they would get it out of GovQA. Yes, they can
Yeah.
view it on GovQA and they can download it out of GovQA.
Are we under any pressure to provide other media
If they requested it, we could do it to a disk,
to
to a CD.
right? Okay, but it's makes sense. Okay, thank you.
And
And
there is a caveat to the charging people for the video. If it's a disinterested third party, we can charge them, but if there's several provisions in the law where people would get the video at cost and those fees would be waived. Like if they're a victim of a crime or, certain things like that.
excellent, yeah,
Yeah.
that was my next question. So at the moment, how much overtime do you have in the records department?
I did not bring those figures with me, but I have run them.
Perdóname, no te puedo oír.
That?
Please speak closer to the microphone.
I don't have those figures with me for the overtime for the department. We currently have not been doing overtime for just for public disclosure. Our overtime is to cover vacant shifts.
Well, I'm hoping that things are managed in a way that people are cross-trained. And so I'm just thinking overtime in general for your group.
Yes, so we currently have myself and another records officer that are certified, as well as 3 others that are being trained to take up some of those public disclosures as well.
So how many people in your group then?
We have 8,
8,
9 including myself,
including or not including?
9 including me.
Okay. Are you having a hard time hearing, or is that just me?
Might be just you, but it's okay.
I'd also like to add, so besides doing the public disclosure for the dash cam and body cam, we're also going to have to forward every single one of those videos to the prosecuting attorney's office,
Yeah,
prosecution. So that is another step that we have to do as well.
Yeah.
yeah. I am trying to figure out, I think this thing was a problem. I'm trying to figure out what the baseline is. But because when you say you were going to be tapping reserve, I assume that operates here for this calendar year, if you will. And next calendar year, it's another question.
Well, I think there's enough in there to fund the position for probably 2 or 3 years without getting too deep into the reserves. But nobody has a crystal ball as far as what the economy is going to be. And most people say it's not going to be great.
Yeah,
But given this demand, the liability for the county, the service to the public, I think it merits taking a chance on getting this position so we can meet our obligations. Maybe obligations we don't like, but they're there and we need to do the best
Yeah.
job we can at it.
And is the intention to grab data so you can recoup some of that time?
Correct. Within a couple
Appropriate.
months, I think we'd have a good baseline and we could come back before you.
And
I know it wouldn't be their typical session where you do that, but say, this is what we have. This is how much our employee is per hour per benefits. We'd like to get a resolution where we could use this cost per hour for processing these. And I think that would be a deterrent for people that just fish and file public
Right.
disclosure requests, hoping there'll be a violation and, they'll get some free money out of that.
yeah,
Not, in no way am I trying to delegitimize legitimate requests for public records. We want to
No,
comply and be very compliant.
I get that, but you're right. There are people that like to take advantage at times.
yeah, I completely appreciate you trying to protect us from those expeditions that are destructive. So my understanding is that as long as you're staying within within the budget, we don't have a lot to say about how you deploy your resources.
Well, I've been told by our financial person that, this would be something the board would need to approve so we can move those cost line or line items around. Because it's an additional position. It's not just refilling
Yeah.
an empty position.
So is that something where HR has to provide a job description?
We already currently have a job description for this.
So you're all set to go, I think.
With your blessing or lack thereof, we won't do it.
I'm good with it. I can imagine that's going to increase demand. People are going to want to.
Oh, I'm actually flabbergasted, but I shouldn't be that it's that much demand, and I expect the video is going to cause you even more demand, and I suspect that some of that demand will be just not without intent to solve a problem, but to create a problem.
Yeah.
Well, we're trying to head it off, so appreciate any cooperation we can get.
Yeah. So we're good to go.
I'm good to go. Yeah.
And thank you for the Word document you sent.
Okay,
It was
thank you for your
nicely
time,
done.
commissioners.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then I do have a request for an executive session after we're done with the rest of the meeting for collective bargaining.
Should we
Okay.
take that into consideration?
There's two areas I never mess with, HR and IT.
How about the clerk of the board?
Well,
You don't
I
want to
don't
mess with that
her
either.
She-
Okay.
She's within arm's length. She can.
Thank you, commissioners.
You do have a hand up to speak. Katrina would like to speak.
Oh, Katrina would like to speak, and unfortunately, I moved my screen onto the document. Katrina, I've been ignoring you all day. My apologies. You're on.
Hello. Hey, just wanted to answer your question. So law records for 2022, their overtime was $25,000, $25,715. So I just wanted to give you your answer. You were asking
Wow.
Undersheriff Handy.
Oh, thank you. As long as you're there, how is the city of Longview withdrew from the daily participation, but now they're on the nightly participation, are they not?
They are, and they're on a contract where they pay for after hours services. And
Yeah,
they help pay for a portion of 4 FTEs to do the work on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Julie Harris I think is still in your audience. She would have more information on that. But
okay.
they are in contract.
She just left.
Okay.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. I appreciate that.
Yep. Have a good day.
Thank you, you too. So next we have ARPA funds.
Didn't realize that Commissioner Weber wouldn't be here today.
You're just trying to hurt our feelings. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, good afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I did not realize Commissioner Weber wouldn't be here today, so this may be something we just want to workshop and I can bring back to the board a little later. We have a ARPA request from Beacon Hill Water and Sewer District. And I believe the general manager has joined. I don't know if you can sit up there and answer any questions. They have submitted a project proposal for a few projects, three that they are working on. And I will actually let you take it away if you want to summarize or.
Sure. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Dell Hilger. I'm the General Manager for Beacon Hill Water and Sewer District. And the district is a water and sewer district formed under the Title 57 of the RCWs. We currently serve a population of over 10,600 people in the unincorporated area of Cowlitz County, with about 4,000 water connections and about 3,000 sewer connections. We serve from kind of the Lone Oak area all the way over to Lexington and up into the Ostrander for the water. And the sewer connections kind of overlap the same area, including Columbia Heights, Beacon Hill, and Lexington. And so in the last few years, the district has seen a large increase in growth, especially in the Lexington area, where we've seen a recent completion of a 23-lot subdivision, a new elementary school, and a new fire station in the same area. Under construction is a 198-unit apartment complex, a 72-unit apartment complex with 48 single-family lots, 4 fourplexes, and we've seen many single lots subdivided into single homes and duplexes throughout the area. So a lot of our infrastructure is dating from the 1960s and 70s, with some of it going back to post-World War II in the water system. In fact, one of the projects is our Beacon Hill Reservoir, which actually dates to 1927, which was a reservoir that was purchased down in the Salem area in the 60s and then moved to its current location to serve that area. So we've just, a lot of our infrastructure is aging, and just due to the increased growth and the increasing infrastructure capacity needs, we're just seeing a lot of need for additional funding for completing a lot of these projects. If you'd like, I can go into some of the few current projects that we're currently looking at. One of them is the Lexington Sewer Force Main. So the Lexington area serves a population of approximately 4,000 people. And we have the current sewer force main it collects all the pump station, the Lexington Sewer Pump Station collects all the sewage from that area and then pumps it through a pressurized pipe further down the line. It was constructed in 1973. Due to the additional growth, we're seeing a need to increase the capacity of that system. Also, we have concerns in light of the redundancy of it. For example, the pipe is constructed of asbestos cement pipe, which is a brittle type of pipe. If you had an earthquake, it very likely would rupture and crack. So what we'd like to do is construct a parallel force main out of HDPE, high density polyethylene pipe, to provide that redundancy, as well as help with the capacity increases that we're seeing, especially in the Lexington area. Along with that would be a new pump in the pump station. one of our other projects, Nevada Drive.
Hold up on that one.
Sure.
What's an approximate cost you're looking at? Looks expensive to me.
Yes, yeah, the project cost estimate is $1.8 million.
Including the pump.
Including the pump and pump improvements.
No
Part of the
pump.
challenge with this one is we're having to, it's Lexington Pump Station is right on West Side Highway, and you have the dike on the one side, and then you have the hillside on the other, and there's just this narrow corridor. Right now, there's already 2 water mains, the existing sewer force main, fiber optic, power. There's a lot going on in that narrow corridor, so there's not a lot of ground to construct a new trench. And so we're having to look for alternative routes to get around this choke point, if you will. So that part of that's going to add to that cost.
Okay, thank you.
This original was 19, so it's been in there, the original's been there 50 years, right?
Yeah, the
Constructed in 1973.
correct.
So 50 years, what do you see another 50 years with the improvement? I mean,
Yes, at least. Yeah, fortunately the HDP is a much more resilient type
Yeah.
of pipe. You know,
and this current system, I think you said it serves 4,000 residents.
correct.
So this would grow that to twice that.
Well,
10, or how
yeah,
do
the
you
Lexington area is
calculate that?
starting to get built out. So the improvements I mentioned earlier, we're starting to see that infill of Lexington area kind of running out of room. So I could see a lot more duplexes and other single family homes going in the area in addition to the ones I mentioned prior. So, you know, I could see maybe another 500 plus customers in that
Gotcha.
area.
Okay. Anytime we put infrastructure in, I kind of like to get an idea how long we expect to have it there.
Right.
There's a good question. What implicitly, or maybe even explicitly, what are the pressures you feel that would put this on your list? As of right now, the thing I hear is that you are a bit apprehensive about the cracking of asbestos
Yeah,
pipe. Now, the asbestos pipe isn't going to age much, but it's not very flexible.
correct.
Right, so this is more like a preventive measure today. Can you handle the 400 increase without an additional pipe?
So it kind of becomes a kind of a balancing act in light of your pumps running longer. So yeah, we theoretically could serve through the existing pipe. Part of this project also includes renovating the existing pipe, such as lining it or pipe bursting it with a newer material to last longer. But the only way to do that is to provide a parallel pipe to be able to bypass pump while you're doing that project. So you're correct. It's a resiliency thing in light of, you know, an earthquake or some other disaster. It also will have the added benefit of the capacity, but if we don't do it, or if we were just, you know, if we were able to somehow just replace the existing pipe, we theoretically could serve the capacity needs, but again, our pumps would run more continuously, which would wear them out, and then you kind of lose your redundancy. And so it is kind of an important factor, I think, is the redundancy factor, in light of if there is, you know, the pipe breaking, then you have that redundancy in a disaster situation. If that pipe breaks, all that sewage is basically going to back up in everyone's homes or end up in the Cowlitz River. So it's something that's definitely keeps us up at night.
Any problems with the pump there now?
No, we had replaced one of our pumps recently, or excuse me, installed an additional pump to increase the capacity of the system.
And you would not be able to reuse that pump?
No, we have 3 pumps in the pump station right now. So what we're going to do is take out one of the older ones and replace it with a actually a smaller pump that can run a more continuous velocity. And so that there can be a more continuous flow, because as we see what happens, there's not a lot of storage capacity. The storage is basically in the pipes itself. And so as the flow is increasing, what happens is the pumps come on and then they pump it down to a certain level and then they shut off. So as you're getting increased flows, your pumps start to cycle more often, which there's certain standards on how often you want that to happen in every hour. And so the more frequently you see that happening, the more you're going to wear out your pump or trip it out. And so ideally, we're trying to size the pump so that it can be a more continuous run with a variable
Right.
frequency drive
Be more
to-
efficient, yeah.
to even out the flow so it can run at a longer, more even rate without it cycling as much.
Okay, I like hearing that. So you will present us two more. Are these in priority order?
Not necessarily. I guess it depends on how you want to look at it. Like the Nevada Drive Sewer Force Main, that is serving a population of about 7,500 people. So if you want to look at it in terms of the population served, this one is highly critical.
Well, I actually think I'd look for you to tell us what the priority item
Okay. Then I guess, yeah, I would pick the Nevada Drive Sewer Force Main as the highest priority.
would be
um,
number two.
which is listed as number 2, right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the Nevada Drive Sewer Pump Station at Nevada Drive and West Side Highway collects all of the sewage from the entire system, from our entire system, from all the other pump stations and gravity lines. It all ends up at the Nevada Drive Pump Station. And then is pumped through a sewer force main that's close to a mile long, between the railroad tracks and West Side Highway down to around Fisher's Lane. And then it goes gravity through an interceptor that ends up in a line that eventually ends up at the Three Rivers Regional Wastewater Authority. There are two sewer force mains. One is in newer 18-inch high-density polyethylene pipe, and the other one is a 12-inch asbestos cement pipe that was constructed in 1961. I guess it was last winter, two winters ago, when we had that big storm event, there was a lot of flooding in the area. And our pumps were running at max capacity, which was about 5,000 gallons per minute. Because what happens is you just get a lot of groundwater that ends up seeping into the sewer system. And so we were max capacity. If one of our pumps went out, we would have just been in a world of hurt. So we're actually looking at redesigning our sewer pump station for the pump station itself. But one of the quick ways to fix the challenges there is to replace the 12-inch asbestos cement pipe with a new 18-inch HDPE line. So we'd have two 18-inch HDPE lines. So by doing that, we're increasing the capacity of the pipes, which allows the pumps to run more efficiently. So we can the pumps can run a higher volume through because when you're trying to run through a small pipe, you're increasing the pressures that you're backing up against. And so the pumps will run hotter, at higher amperages, and then they'll trip out. And so this way we can actually increase our capacity in a quicker way by pipe bursting that existing 12-inch line. And that'll buy us some time while we're working on a redesign of the pump station to increase the capacity of the station itself.
Just out of curiosity, do you have a lot of elbows in that system?
On that line,
Yeah.
there are a few. There's a creek crossing, and then there's another crossing under, I believe it's under the railroad tracks.
Should I think of the material going through there as a slurry?
Yeah, it's probably, Yeah, I'm not sure which percentage of solids, but it's, the majority is going to be water, but correct. It's
Okay.
kind of like a slurry, like a,
And it's not abrasive.
depends on what, I guess, was flushed down the toilet.
Yeah, but
uh,
on,
But
on
in
average.
general, yeah, it's, you know, yeah, I mean, I guess you might say it's slightly abrasive, but not,
Because oil pipelines have all kinds of trouble on elbows because they abrade away on.
right, right,
And so we couldn't get 50 years out of this, I don't think, if it were abrasive,
right,
but
right,
you've got experience, so
right.
you think you're fine.
Yeah, and again, going back to the asbestos cement issue, again, if there's, an earthquake or ground movement, that line can break. So the HDPE is a much more flexible, has a lower coefficient of friction. So,
Yeah.
so the slurry or the sewage, if you will, can move at a faster rate too.
So Maracas has developed a vortex for elbows that actually reduces the back pressure and largely reduces the abrasion. But anyhow, maybe that's something we can talk about
Sure.
offline if that's of interest.
Right. Thank you.
The cost on this one?
Yeah, the cost for this, our project cost estimate is $961,000, and we're requesting $855,000.
And you're requesting 865?
855.
On the second page, down towards the bottom, it lists the
Oh.
total. I'm here to help.
You've seen this before? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And the final project is the Beacon Hill Reservoir. So this was the one I mentioned to earlier, was constructed in 1927 and moved
We moved it up here from,
is around the Salem area. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of your classic reservoir, like a little, something you'd see in a Midwest town, with a tank on top with kind of a
Oh,
hat, and then up on long legs. It's 120 feet tall.
how many gallons?
It only holds 70,000 gallons. We did we had a structural engineer look at it about 5 years ago to see if we could buy some time with it, and it was missing bolts and the welds. Apparently when they reassembled it, they didn't put everything back together the way it should have been. So we took some efforts to
get her done, company got it.
yeah, it was around I think it was the late 60s when they moved it here. So we made some efforts to fix those issues, but again, it's 96 years old, and so we're on borrowed time with it. At the same time, the capacity for the area that it's serving, which is the Beacon Hill area, that serves approximately 1,300 population in that Beacon Hill zone. So we had worked on a design for a new steel column reservoir, 500,000 gallons. And we had gone to bid actually last summer, and the bids came in well above our engineer's estimate by about 1.4 million over the engineer's estimate of $2.2 million. And so we didn't accept the bids. We went back to the drawing board, and we're working with the engineer on trying to value engineer, things to reduce costs on the design. We're hoping to get those costs down to about 3 million. We should be going to bid again here in March. And so the total project cost again would be about 3 million. We have about 2 million from a revenue bond. And so we're asking for $1 million.
And you're still looking to increase capacity about 500,000?
500,000
Yeah,
gallons
yeah.
would be the total capacity of the tank.
That'll be at the same location?
Correct. We have I think it's about was a several acre lot. And so we'd be able to construct it sort of next to the existing tank before we demolish the existing one.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with the permitting. I assume your plans have already taken into account constraints, the geotech analysis and all that.
Correct. Yeah, we've had geotech engineers do a lot of, we had to do some digging and potholing and drilling to see what the soils are like, and the design was based on that analysis.
Typically on something like this, I would be normally inclined to make the distinction between something that can bring revenue in and try to make that be a loan versus something that doesn't have revenue, such like trying to help exit 21. That it's really hard to figure how you're going to build that, but you're going to get revenue from your clients and all that eventually. And so you've got the problem, you got to build today to service the next umpteen years.
Correct. I might add, you're probably already aware too, that the Beacon Hill Elementary School was purchased by the Three Rivers Christian School. And so they're going to reutilize that facility there too. So we'll be able to better serve the fire flow capacity in that area too.
Yeah.
So,
Do you have fire flow constraints at the moment?
just only the capacity issue. We do have a fire flow pump at what's called our Beacon Hill pump station, which pumps up into the area.
Yeah.
But you know, there's always limitations with that if you have a power outage or something like that.
Questions on this?
I didn't want to monopolize it. If you had more, I mean, feel free to interrupt.
No, I understand. I mean, infrastructure is one of the things they look for us
Yeah.
for, and so I'm not expressing a lot of heartburn here, I think.
Yeah.
People expect.
How much money do we have?
So currently we are sitting at about 1.7 left in ARPA, but that is still pending the Woodland update that I still have not received.
Right.
Which is, I believe, 2.6.
This is what
I
we
think it
heard
was
this morning.
2.6.
and
Should I worry at this point about exhibit number 1 and 2? I don't think I need to look at it now, but that's
think those are
that's
just
just your breakdown.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is just a breakdown from Gibbs and
Yeah.
Olson, it looks like.
I think
Yes.
I'm happy to take that as part of all these questions is for me to assess whether the homework's been done. And
Right.
I think the homework's been done.
Right. Yeah. These are the engineer's estimates based on from the engineer.
You have suggestions?
Well, I'm inclined to help. We don't have this kind of funds of it. We could have it available, but we don't.
So if the board is open to it, I can true up some numbers and come back with an exact dollar amount, maybe including one with Woodland staying in and one without
Yeah.
Woodland staying in, and we can come back maybe next week and
But the number you gave us is within 10%.
Yes.
right? Yeah, so I'm not going to, I think we ought to at least have a plan right now. And I'll throw something out. Of course, I'm cheap, so I look at 855K there, and that was something that probably gives you from a priority basis. So I'm okay with going ahead with
Yeah.
that one and then discussing further. And if something breaks through in terms of other funding, we have from Public Works, they're looking at getting other funding, right? For things that I've already
Yes, they had a couple projects that I believe could fall off as well, which will free up.
Okay, do you remember ballpark? I thought that was like
There was like,
additional 2 million.
yeah, I think there was a couple big
What-
projects.
Wasn't it that, do I want to say Evans?
There was the Shadow Mountain
I
one.
don't know. Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. Here,
So what are you saying, Aaron? Do this 855, that's top priority, right?
right, and it's also something I think I'm okay with spending half of what we've got.
Okay.
And then if we see how the other numbers pop out, we can take a look at these. We good with that?
Absolutely. No, we're appreciative for any support that you can provide.
Okay, so then our next question to you would be, what's the timeline on these other things? Like if we got you an answer in 5 months, does that clear anything up or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, of course, sooner is
The
better.
sooner the
but,
better, yeah.
But yeah, we're going to move ahead with the projects as much as we can. Like the sewer force main, we really need to do that no matter what we do. It's just finding the money, right? So,
Yeah.
if, you know, if like the force main, if you're able to provide that, that's great. And if you're able to provide additional funds on the other projects later, that's always good too. So.
On number 3, if we could put some, somebody's gonna really write a nasty gram on this for me. If you can put pallet homes at the base, we can use dock recording fees. Okay, never mind.
So, yeah, I'm good with this sewer force main. We got funds for that right now, and then we'll just keep this on our list if something else frees up, but we good?
I don't know of anything from, I don't know of anything else that is quite so well spelled out, asking for it. I mean,
Not that I've seen.
right, and so you don't know about anything else?
No, I don't.
Nope.
So that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
And the time frame for you to spend this is almost immediate?
We still, of course, have to go to bid on the projects, and so
Right.
that will take some time, you know, a few months. Construction will probably start in the summertime. So the actual spending of the money would be more like summer. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Have until 2024 for the funds to be obligated in contract, end of 2024, and then you have through the end of 2026 to finish the work. So
Okay.
it sounds like you're,
That should not be a
That's-
problem.
okay.
that's exactly what I was driving at.
yeah, I'm here to help.
Mhm.
Thank you. Um,
Okay.
Nice
you.
job.
Yeah.
Anything else on ARPA?
Nothing else on ARPA. That does mean we will start with a subrecipient agreement that I will start today, and that should be hopefully on the agenda by next week, maybe the following week. So you guys will see that then.
Okay.
Okay. Del, any other questions about the process?
So just to clarify, are we getting the 855? Okay, and then possibly some additional funds.
There is formality there, and I'm never quite clear about formal things. What we just did now is made a commitment to you,
Okay.
and we will carry that out.
Great.
Of course, at my age, who knows what tomorrow brings?
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is all I
Thank you for a
have.
nice job,
Thank you, commissioners.
and thank you.
Yeah.
Where are we? Miscellaneous. Oh. Okay. Uh, Let's see, I haven't been checking for hands. I should do that. I don't see any hands. Of course, the public can make a comment anytime they want. There is no public present in the hearing room. There are 11 attendees, some of whom are from the public. Okay, what's Jessica? Yeah, it's collective bargaining, and that's Kelly knows all the proper RCWs. Thank you. And how much time do you need? 5. Okay. We will adjourn and do that. We'll start at 2:23. How's that for precision? We have just come back from our executive session in which we discussed some HR issues. No decisions were made. Nothing else is on the agenda. Miscellaneous, we're here mostly by ourselves. So unless someone comes up, you have a miscellaneous?
I do.
Excellent.
From our conversation this morning on the McNeil Island, were we gonna check with, I guess who wants to take the point on that and maybe check with?
I was going to talk with our attorneys
Okay.
and see.
Just see what,
Yeah,
if anything, we have
yeah,
available
and
to
let
us.
me restate what I think I'm going to ask is, what prerogatives does the board have in terms of ordinances or county code related to specific special use purposes for, yeah, I'm stuck there. I'll figure something out
Yeah.
in the county. And
Okay.
then that's part A. Part B is, do we have any say at all about items within a municipality? So the house up in Cascade Way that's county or Longview?
City of Longview.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll ask. I think I know the answer, but a lot of times I think something and it turns out not to be quite right.
Yeah. The recycling center, now they were working on something for us. If that actually, I'm trying to recall if that was actually set to close before we had another spot, or we just were announcing it was going to close.
They were announcing it was, Public Works was announcing they were closing it. I think we can do whatever we want there, but I like to do stuff like that with consent of the Public Works Department saying, okay, we understand what you're doing there. One of us, I can do it and I'd be happy to do it, talk to Public Works or Environmental Health Unit and establish, see if we can establish something. It will have to be in conjunction with the attorneys also.
Yeah, I can take that one
Okay.
and do that. I just wanted to know we were on the kind of the same page.
Yeah. No, excellent. Yeah.
And then the other is one that I'm working on, and it sounded like you're not I'm not talking about sanctuary, but I am talking about a resolution in support of the Second Amendment. And I know you had some reservations on that, but.
Yeah, the reservation I have in there, as soon as you pretend that you've got something to say about the Second Amendment, you kind of grant the other side that they have something to say about the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
And I'm not prepared to grant that to anybody except our Congress, the federal Congress, through a legitimate amendment. So it's possible that somebody could have an amendment to cancel this Second Amendment. It would have to go through an amendment process.
Mhm.
I surely hope it wouldn't pass, but everything else is, in my book, completely illegitimate. So back to the sanctuary, I'm I'm sometimes too much of a purist, so if you would say, don't vote against it, just abstain, I probably would agree with you and say, okay, I'll just stand aside on it.
Well, I'll probably put it into a work session. It's not asking to be a sanctuary county. It's the way I look at it is a resolution saying we support the Second Amendment and the rights of people. But I think I'll probably bring that document so you can at least peruse it, see it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. One of the difficulties I have is I like whatever we do to have to be consequential. And you and I may decide here that we're going to ignore any what I call repugnant and illegitimate laws coming out of Olympia.
Right.
And I think you and I would have the courage to stand up for that. But it doesn't do any good if we don't have other entities on board, like the sheriff.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes if it's known that, you may get at least the public that'll stand up some and be.
I buy that argument.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to state something that you know is more of a spiritual kind of a leadership position.
I said it once on that side of the table. Sometimes if you're brave enough to lead, people will start to follow.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if you're taking a lead there, I'm a happy camper.
Okay, well, I'm doing that. That's all I had. Oh, and what I heard today is we're gonna have Kelly bring us up this 2017 resolution so we can look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Knowing Kelly, it's already on my desk.
Probably so.
No pressure.
That's all I had. This was, he put this together well, or whoever put it together.
Yeah, and it was all quality in my book.
Yeah.
I was going to tease you about it being in your district.
Seems like about everything's in my district. It's a big district.
Except for lately, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not population, obviously, we're all pretty close to the same, but area.
Area-wise, you have the largest area-wise, I think.
Yeah.
Essentially, the District 2 is the city of Longview.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Let me look in my notes and see if there's. One of the things we still have pending is I think I'm expecting a list of names and dollars that went to them based on the rental assistance. You haven't received any of that, have you? No, okay. Another thing I would favor, which would be completely instead of, I mean, I could almost go for I think the language, the official government language should be English. And if you don't understand English, you got to help yourself find out what it is. I really think it's divisive to do otherwise, expensive. It shows that we don't count on you to learn laws and mores of how we do business, how we live here. That's got to be bad.
Yeah,
I'll bet you we can't sell that one.
probably not.
I'll write it up in Spanish for you.
Yeah, there you go. You could write it up in several languages.
Not in, spelling in French and French constructs are, I mean, I could make myself understood, but it would be ugly.
Yeah.
Uh, And tomorrow, you've got to be, you got someplace to be by 3 today?
Yeah, I'm going to just across the parking lot here to the
Oh,
WSU
well, that's right,
Extension
okay.
office, yeah.
And tomorrow, do we have a preview of what's going on? Oh, that's right. We were going to have the contract with Nicole Tideman to come up. Do you know of any other miscellaneous?
I don't. So,
Okay. We're good.
we're good.
Thank you, everybody. I've appreciated everybody's attendance. Oh, I see a chat thing. I should have seen that before. Oh, okay. No, I've got that something was already presented. It was telling us how much overtime was charged, but we got that straight. Thank you, everybody. This meeting's adjourned.